One of the things about preaching on vocations, the call to priesthood and religious life, is you have to understand that what we're talking about is countercultural. We're swimming upstream to preach vocations in a world that's addicted to creature comforts, that seeks money, that seeks immediate gratification, and seeks wealth and comfort and ease. Kind of difficult. Try this. Walk into a classroom of high school students, essentially a room full of glands and tennis shoes, okay? And say, okay, I'd like to invite you to a life of sacrifice. A life where you put other people's needs before yourself. A life where you have more education than the ordinary person, where your salary never meets the federal poverty standard, and you don't have sex for the rest of your life. Who wants to join? And they're going to look at you like you're absolutely crazy. So the idea of inviting people to priesthood and religious life, to really try to listen to God's call in their life, it's not about trying to be popular in the world. It's about trying to be pleasing in the sight of God. And so when we talk about priesthood and religious life today, we don't have to just talk about the virtues, and they're many, the virtues of what we do. We have to challenge people like Christ did. The reason why they killed Christ is because the values that he stood for were not in keeping with the day and the time in which he lived. And the values that we as priests and religious stand for should not be in keeping with the time in which we live. We're called to bring Christ into a world. You know, so many people ask the question, oh, when is the church going to change this? When is the church going to change that? When is the church going to let you do this? When is the church going to let you do that? What are they asking? Fundamental question. What's the purpose of the church? Is the purpose of the church to change the law of God to keep up with society? It's the purpose of the church to change society, to keep up with the law of God. That's what we're invited to as priests and religious. We're called to be just as countercultural and stand apart in a world of consumerism and consuming values as Christ did. Christ was not popular because he said things that people don't want to hear. We as priests and religious are not called to beat people over the head with the truth, but we are called to bring people to the gospel truth, the values that Christ has for us. And it's different from what society and television and multimedia wants for us. And so, if anyone has ever thought about priesthood and religious life, if being popular and being like everybody else and just wanting to do what everybody else does, if that's what's most important to you, then you probably shouldn't consider priesthood and religious life. But if you're really concerned to being what God calls you to be and standing with the midst of your brothers and sisters committed to the gospel value, it's something really worth looking at. It's an incredible life. It's a great gift. And God offers it, but we have to make the choice to respond to it. God bless you.